Yeah, been around a long time. Known each other for a long time.
How long? 30 years?
No, I don't think that long.
You
25.
sure?
I think 25.
That's still a long
90,
time.
94, 95?
Yeah, something like that, man. It's been way too long. You've been all over the place. Recently, you were on the XL for a few years.
3 years, 3 seasons over there with those guys. Good guys.
Yeah.
Just it was time for me to move on.
Yeah, that happens. And now you're on the El Patron. We're going to talk a lot about that. I got to tell everybody, first of all, however, I know you're tuning in for Tackle Shop Confessions with Sam De La Torre. Sam's wife's birthday is this evening, so everybody should put up there and wish Sam's wife a happy birthday to bail him out of any problems he might have gotten into when he first decided he was going to do the show. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to say that. He said from the very beginning, it's my wife's birthday, there's no way I can do it. So we've rescheduled, and now we are so fortunate to have Will Hogue here. Will, it's really a pleasure to have you, my friend.
Good to be with you.
How do you like the El Patron?
I like it.
Yeah?
It's smaller. It's nice. I like the smaller boat aspect. You got 8 to 10 guys, full day up to 18. A little more personable. Not so many passengers. We carried 33. 24 to 33 people on the XL. So, kind of has the same size crew passenger ratio. So you can be a little more hands on with your passengers. There's no big wheelhouse to hide away from everybody. You're kind of there with everyone. If they want to ask you a question, they're right there.
That's cool.
It's not bad. It's been nice. I like the way the boat fishes. It's small. It stops quick. The fish don't seem to run away from it as fast as some of the bigger boats that are noisy and loud. So it's nice. It's a work in progress, but it's coming along. It's a good boat to fish on.
Man, I like it. I've just walked down. We're going to fish on it on September the 15th.
Nice.
And hopefully you're going to be running that trip.
Should be
fun. Let me read a couple comments. And Travis Bright says, good evening, guys. Ahmad Graham says, we are here and waiting. Halibut man, I can't believe that dodo video earlier. That's right. Some guy caught a Dorado off the docks in Newport on Wednesday. So we had that kid in here, and it was pretty cool. Jeremy says, good evening, everyone. Happy birthday, Sam's wife. That's for sure. If you have a question for Will, he'll be here for a little bit. He's going to have to run off at some point in time because you're on a trip tonight. What are you on, a day and a half?
Day and a half.
What's the plan? It sounds like that Tannerbank bite is still off.
I'm not going to go that direction.
Yeah.
I'm going to run. I found a spot of fish yesterday on the way home.
Yeah.
It's all 100 to 250 plus bluefin.
Wow.
I was the only boat out there. A couple guys know about it, but I'm going to try to aim that direction, see if I can find anything for a couple hours at night, see if we can do some knife jigging, see if they show up, if I can find them. And if not, we're going to bail down closer to the border, stay outside the boundary line, stay legal, and look for those kelp, dorado, and yellowfin that have been down there. So that's my plan, but hopefully maybe find, a handful of those big ones would be an awesome start.
Yeah.
It's too far to run back up this direction to fish for them, and then after being down there, but, I got some decent intel on what was going down the inside yesterday on an overnight trip. So, we parked on them, we threw bait at them, we threw jigs at them, we threw sinker rigs at them. We probably could have snagged them if we would have tried, and they stayed right next to the boat. They were up for 5-10 minutes. They just kind of bowled around the boat, foamed around the boat, and just split up into 3 pieces and just kept doing their thing. They had no fear of our little boat. Just if we probably had a pier gaff, I probably could have snagged one. Or
wow, that's amazing. How frustrating.
It's bluefin.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You got to love them or hate them. And a lot of times it's a love-hate relationship. We
know.
love to catch them, but we hate to fish for them.
Yeah, I know, man. I hear some of my San Diego guys, they're like, anything but bluefin. Please, some albacore or some, kelp patty fish or something. And, like you say, it's a love-hate relationship.
It is. And these fish are, I got a lot of, I read a lot of people who are like, where'd they go? These fish are like residents. They don't leave.
I think you're right.
I don't think they've ever left since 2015. You can go catch them in January if you really wanted to.
Right.
We've had great Outer Banks fishing in December, November. It's not that the fish aren't there. We don't have the fishermen to carry to go catch them. So, I've caught them in 55-degree water, 58-degree water. They're there. So, everybody wants to go catch albacore, but it's hard to go past, fish of a lifetime where you used to have to ride, the long range boats go catch 100 to
Yeah.
300-pound tuna.
Think
Now
about that.
Now you can get on anything from a full day boat to a day and a half and catch a fish of a lifetime that you'd have to pay a lot of money before to go do. So I mean, when I worked on the overnight boats, the heaviest gear we brought was 40-pound to go fish yellowtail. And
That's
now
right.
you have to bring 100-pound, knife jig setup just in case you hook one of these things.
pitching.
2-speed. Yeah, you didn't bring any of that stuff.
Yeah,
Fluoro
right.
and 40-pound, and you were set.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you were on an overnight trip, they were trolling, then you brought a 6-0
Yeah,
with you and
right.
some 60 pounds. So,
Yeah, and the boat always had trolling
we had
rigs, so
trolling-
yeah,
had
you didn't
trolling
have to.
rods. No.
Pinch me, I'm dreaming, because you're absolutely right. You talk about you had to jump on a long range boat to be able to catch that great of fish, and now, as you said, I mean, there's even some instances where the full day guys out of San
yeah.
Diego, a lot of times, the San Diego.
Not trying to drop names or anything like
Yeah.
that, but the San Diego Booger, the guy that runs that
Booger's
boat,
on it, man.
Amazing fisherman.
Yes.
I got to know him a little bit when I was down there working out of Seaforth on a different boat.
Yeah,
And he's a great guy. He works hard. He's got a reputation and a following, and it pays for it.
yeah,
It
absolutely.
shows the drive. I mean, you got to have that drive right there. So I mean, he's a full day boat. You don't know when you're getting back, but
I know.
he's going fishing. He's going to go. So I mean, that's the drive a lot of us have, is we want to catch fish, and sometimes we just don't have enough time to do it. That's the hardest thing about managing a full day boat or overnight boat. Day and a half is when to pull the plug. Sometimes you just have to know when it's time.
Yes,
I
exactly.
mean, if I beat my people up in bad weather the whole time, do I really want to fish for another hour and a half in the dark when I can't see swells?
Yeah,
Is it fair to them? No,
Yes.
it's not. I want to catch fish, but I
want
I
people
learned
to
a
have an
long time
enjoyable-
ago. Yes, and I
Yeah.
learned a long time ago. I've had some incidents on other boats where people have had heart attacks, and we got them on the boat. I got them off the boat, and they lived. And when that happens, fishing comes second to passenger safety. There's no reason to hurt anybody to go fishing.
yeah, right, exactly.
So-
This isn't a commercial fishing
No, and
operation.
it's not. And these guys, to me, like I know a lot of us have success is if I take 10 guys fishing, I come back with 10 guys. I had a successful trip.
You bet.
They all came back.
Yeah,
If you go fishing with 9 guys or with 10 guys, you come back with 9, you got limits of fish. You really didn't have a good trip.
no kidding,
Because
man.
one person didn't come back with you.
That's right.
That's not
That
the
can
best.
be a little bit of a problem.
A little bit of a Debbie Downer, for sure.
That's for sure. Let me read a couple comments here. Albert Ponce says, "Good evening, Phil, and all the great fellows watching." Scott Grant has a question for you on the El Patron. Can he bring a kite? Do you fish kites?
I have
Can
a
you
kite
troll
on the
Mad
boat.
Max?
We troll Mad Max. I do have a kite. It's a work in progress. I've got to get holders set up. There's no place to really hold the kite down. I've got to work on the bait system to where I have a milk crate full of flyers. I do have double treble setups. But when you're running and gunning, if you see these big foamers, it's not like I have someplace to store a kite with a balloon.
Yeah,
And I
right.
got a helium tank on the boat. I've got the kite set up, ready to go. I've got the kite rod. But it takes time to teach overnight guys up here how the kite system works when you've learned it. It took me time to learn how the kite system
Sure,
worked. And
I'm
those
sure it
guys
did.
down there showed me. I mean, I made mistakes.
Yeah,
And those guys on the XL, I learned a lot from them.
I'm
And
sure.
I try to bring that to the boat and bring that to the people that are working for me now. So yes, I do have a kite. You don't need to bring one. Unless you have a Boston kite, then yeah, you're welcome to bring it because then I don't have to have a balloon to put it on there.
yeah. There you go.
So that's my next thing is to get a Boston kite where I don't have to fight the balloon to get it up,
Yeah,
which is a little bit sometimes a pain in the butt when the boat's a lot smaller to try to rig up a 36-inch balloon on a kite.
yeah. Right. Exactly.
You don't have the space. You're trying not to pop it. You're trying to
Chuck Zimmer, president of the Redondo Rod and Gun Club, says he's heading out with his son Charlie on the Native Sun on Sunday. What kind of gear should he bring? You know what's going on locally. What should he bring? You definitely want to have
I
some.
think they're sand bass fishing.
Yeah, I think so. Sand and
I think they're
calicos.
fishing sand bass. So I would bring like a 15 or 20-pound rod.
Yeah, Yeah.
I'd bring some 4-ounce sinkers. I'd bring some number 1 to 2.0 hooks, depending on if they're anchovies or sardines, and some sliding sinkers and a handful of plastics. So I think they've had pretty good fishing down there at Iser's.
Yeah, they
moving
have.
around.
It's
So
backed off a little bit, but I think it'll get going again. I don't know if all this down tuna bite is moon phase or weather or what. I know we were out on that, Tanner, in some pretty snotty weather, and we had full speed fishing.
Well, yeah, I think. So I was out there last weekend. I got out there the day after. When did we get out there? We got out there Saturday. So Friday it was good fishing. Thursday it was great fishing. Wednesday it was great fishing. The weather did come up on Saturday, but there was also 40-some boats out there.
Yeah, I know. A lot of pressure.
So from what I've seen,
Amazing.
bluefin fishing locally or even offshore, you get that many boats out there, they don't like it. They sink out. They don't always leave. They just sink out and go away. I talked to my buddies on other boats. They said they still saw the same marks they had the day before, looking good, but it didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people start pulling anchors and moving around, and he said it got a little better, but they still just didn't want to, just off the bite.
Didn't want to get with it.
No.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been out there where like 1 week it's all 25 to 40-pound fish, and then you slide out there the next week, and there's 2 or 3 boats out there, and you drive around, or you go out there to look, and it's all 10-pound fish.
Yeah.
It's
weird, right?
8 to 12 pounders, 10-pound.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm looking to fish for out there. I drove away, went back inside, and found some bigger fish that wanted to eat the jigs in the daytime, and some sinker rig fish. So those fish just move around, I think, in a big circle. They slide around, they chase bait. I think the fish on the inside right now are all on those little kelps that have all been stirred up. Every kelp you pull up to, like yesterday, was full of 3 to 4 inch schools of bait underneath it. So I'm sure those fish are just
Are
feeding
on that.
on. It's straight sand bass water offshore.
Oh, is it?
It's brown, it's green, it's ugly,
Really?
and it's full of fish.
That's amazing. And biting fish?
I didn't
In
say
the
they were
brown water?
biting. I said
Yeah.
they were
No,
full of fish.
that's what I'm asking.
They're bluefin.
Yeah.
So
And that's full of fish, that
and it's
brown
full of
water.
fish. They're
That's
eating.
crazy.
So I found a porpoise school that had tuna on it. They didn't want to bite.
Yellowfin?
The yellowfin won't bite in that color water.
Yeah, right.
But we did find a spot of yellowfin on a sonar mark yesterday that responded. We got one out of it. We probably should have had 6 or 7. They stuck with the boat for 20, 25 minutes, boiling around. They just, it was an it was like bluish green water. It was clean, but it was not exactly the water you'd look for.
Right.
I mean, there's fish there. It's just,
Conditions are a little
conditions
off.
are off a little bit.
And that'll clean up, right? At some point in time?
Hopefully. The Dorado don't care. The Yellowtail don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen that. I mean, caught one in Newport Beach.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Are these flatheads, are we headed to the same kind of a year that we had last year, do you think? I mean, is
know
that
they're coming
possible? There's some great scores down there already today that I've heard. The last 3 days have been good.
When I talked to someone, they told me they were, every little kelp from the 302 down below the Coronados was just loaded.
Yeah.
You could get done in a hurry.
Yep.
The yellowfin were down deeper, 100 feet or so. So if you want to fish a sinker rig, you could, and pick away at the yellowfin that are down there.
Yeah.
So hopefully that stuff slides up.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed, man. All right. Halibut Man says, one problem with fishing the kite, in his opinion, is the whole boat has to wait for this one guy to catch a fish. So I don't know if that, but everybody's in the rotation also, right?
Yeah, there's certain ways people do things. I know some boats have time limits. They give them like 45 minutes and then they swap. Some go 1 through 10. They go in numeric order. I start fishing the kite like that. I'm not going to go 1 through 10. I'm going to put all the numbers in a hat.
That's a good way to do
I'll
it.
pull it out. Everybody's got an equal shot.
Yeah.
There's no, oh great, I'm number 10. You're
I'm
starting
screwed.
at 1. I'm screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, I've worked with Lackey, and I've seen us go through a 20 person kite rotation in 1 day.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
Just as fast as you could put the kite out.
It's bit.
A fish is bit, and you got him yelling, "I need another kite reel." And you've got 8 guys hooked up on fish.
Wow.
And you need more kite gear.
I'll
it's
bet
just
you.
full speed.
Yeah.
And you got to stop fishing on that boat to put, 100 to 300 pound fish laying around the deck, and the crew's tripping over them. We're like, all right, we got to stop for an hour while we put all these things down in the fish hole. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but it just depends on the fish.
Yeah.
Some days they bite fast, some days they don't.
Yes.
So 10 person rotation on a little boat, if you get a good kite bite,
You go through that pretty fast.
You can go through that pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
Frank V, I'm not sure if he's asking this question or what. He says trollfish can be jackpot fish, though. Trollfish have never been in the jackpot. Are they in the jackpot nowadays?
Trollfish have never been in the jackpot. Kite fish on the big boats, if everyone has a kite fish,
Yeah,
then they are counted for jackpot.
Everybody's got to have one.
But everybody has to have an opportunity to kite fish.
Yeah. Okay.
So if they've all gone through the rotation, then kite fish count. But they clip them and we mark what the weights are and put kite next to them so we know it's a kite fish.
Yeah.
Opposed to not.
I'm loving this tonight, man. You are awesome. You are full of so much information, man. I am absolutely loving this. Hello, Ms. McFly says he's just dropping in to say hi. Robert says happy birthday to Sam's wife. He's really helping Sam out here. Robert Brashaw, how many to run the 1.5 trips? I asked because I want to book, but the setup.
I need 6. I need at least 6 people.
Oh, okay. And you go with a total of 10.
I go with 10. I need 6. 6 covers costs and everything else. I can't go with less. It's
sure you go
hard,
with.
But
I know.
I go with 6.
That's ridiculous. I mean, how much room and.
Well, think about how many people you're missing. 4 people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know.
Even with 10, there's a lot of room on that boat.
Yo, heck yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Scott Grant, it was a traffic jam out there on Tanner Bank Saturday morning on Tanner. I saw you and the Amigo. Saw you out there. Yep. Brutal swells. It was pretty nasty.
It was nasty. It was uncomfortable. I'm glad I left. I'm glad I went to the inside. We caught 1 yellowtail, some sheephead. We hooked a tuna and we caught a bonita and released a nice 35, 40-pound black sea bass. It was very angry once we got him to the surface, but he went away.
That's cool.
I looked around the high spot to see if there was anything there. Didn't like it, ran down, and I found a couple kelps that were holding some yellows and Dorado. Found a school of bigger fish off the east end of Clemente that we couldn't get to go, but, you know, sometimes fishing takes second to fishing what you can do. So fishing the weather on a boat that size, you gotta kind of watch it. You know, it's not the XL, it's not the Rooster, it's not the RP where you can stay out there and you can go into that stuff. You know, it's 50 feet. You know, when I dunk my bow in a 50-foot boat, it doesn't have to be rough. It can be 4 foot, and you know, when you dunk the boat, it's crap. It's rough.
And you guys are pretty speedy on that rig, aren't you? Is this the same boat as the Aloha Spirit?
Same boat, but there's added weight with the bait tanks and stuff like that, I believe.
Yeah.
And the house, little stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to repower soon or not. But it's not a bad.
I mean, how fast can you get?
I cruise at 10 knots.
Yeah.
12. I mean, it'd go.
But if you had to kick it and run for something,
if I had to kick it and run, probably 11 to 12 knots, 13 knots. So, you know, try not to do that with $5 a gallon diesel right now.
Oh my God, it's brutal, isn't it?
Might as well turn Chris upside down and shake him. So.
He'll be here in a little bit. Maybe we can do that.
No.
You got to meet Tom Durr tonight, by the way, right? We had a little excitement with Tom. He lost his balance, and we ran out. We were a little late with the show.
Late with the podcast.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure Tom was okay.
It's one of those old fishermen that just,
Yeah, I know, man. He's got all those stories.
Can't stop him. He falls down. You okay? I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were really concerned, right?
Yeah, but hey,
he's an old, tough guy, man. Yeah, because we were, hey, you okay? You know, we'll walk you out to your car. No, leave me alone. You want some water? Nah, I don't want no water. All right. So we had a little excitement around here a little while ago. Halibut Man says, Lackey got me started on long-range trips. Mike Lackey, the Vagabond, super great guy.
Mike Lackey is probably one of the best bluefin fishermen, and he is a great person all around.
Yeah.
I enjoy working with him when I get an opportunity. His crew's great. He's got a great little boat. It's like the little long-range boat that could. You know, I have nothing but respect for that man.
Is he still running that?
He doesn't run it as often, but he's got Cameron, who's his son-in-law, and he's got Andrew, who started it last year, and both of those guys are awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure. And Mike wouldn't turn the boat over to anybody unless
they
were awesome.
I think Andrew's been on that boat since he was like 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
Like a son's friend growing up, so he's a great kid.
Yeah.
He works hard. He keeps his crew fresh. He does really well. He's very fishy.
All right, Ajax Reuter says, what's good to fish from the shore? Happy birthday, Sam's wife. I don't know. Clarify that. You're talking about what kind of fish to catch from the shore, what kind of rod and reel to use. Let me know what you think about that. Are we headed, do you think, to an incredible fall? I don't want you to make a prediction, but I just see with the El Nino, and really it hasn't manifested itself quite yet. Seems like we're going to have some fish here this fall.
I think it seems like a later season.
Yeah. Seems like
for
we're a month
sure.
late, right?
Or more.
Yeah.
But it's guys, if you're gonna go fishing, don't give up after Labor Day. A lot of guys give up after Labor Day.
Absolutely.
The boats go run light. It's some of the best fishing is from September 15th until like December. You know, the quality fishing to be had, and it's just lack of enthusiasm or lack of participation that
Kids go
keeps
back
us
to
from-
school.
Yeah, kids go
and
back to school. Then you
people's-
got holidays, and you got Thanksgiving, you got Halloween, then you got Christmas. I mean, it changes the order of when you can what you can do. So I get it, but I mean, if you want to get out and get on a weekend or something like that, don't give up just because it's after Labor Day. There's a lot of fish to be had right now.
And I make the point that our best weather months are normally in the fall in Southern California.
That's normally the best. You lose the winds because the offshore to inland temperatures equalize.
Yes.
So you don't get the big winds off the coast rushing inshore, which then cause it to be rougher offshore. So yeah, it gets rough offshore when it's 110 degrees in Riverside and it's 70 degrees off the backside of Catalina. That air's got to go somewhere. So
Yeah, exactly.
it blows.
What I like about it is the variety. I mean, earlier in the year, we're catching bluefin, 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 bluefin. Now, there's a whole bunch of other species that you have a possibility of catching.
You got bluefin, you got yellowfin, you got dorado, you got yellowtail. You know, you can always hook a marlin. Those are always fun to
Heck
be
yeah.
irritated by.
I love fishing marlin.
So
Are you seeing much marlin around? They're talking about
I
seeing
haven't
quite
seen
a bit.
any. I didn't see any yesterday. I know the Freedom hooked one and it came off.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, it's all fun. I mean, they're pretty. They're pretty annoying on the long range boats. I mean, but up here,
Especially when you get
on
down off Mag Bay.
oh
and
gosh, on the potato.
Oh my God,
man.
huh? Tell people about that because some people out there wouldn't believe what you're talking about.
The-
You can have
the
everybody on
amount
the
of
boat.
marlin?
Yeah.
Yeah, you watch the yachts troll around, and we're fishing mackerel trying to catch the big cow yellowfin that live there. You know, it's a hard deal. You know, some days you'll catch 5 or 6. Some days you won't catch any. It's the nature of the business. I mean, then you get the one big one that wants to come through and eat. But yeah, you'll catch 50 striped marlin in a day.
That's freaking incredible,
and
isn't
it's
it?
just, you're like, oh, we got one, and then you see it jump, like, oh, it's a marlin. So, I mean, and then you fish a chunk to think that the marlin won't eat the chunk, and you catch a shark. So, I mean, or you fish a flyer out under the kite, and then the marlin eats the flyer. It's just, yeah, they become a nuisance. But I mean, they're fun to catch, but they get annoying.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because I took my kids on their very first, well, of course, I took them on everything, but we drove to Palmas de Cortez on the East Cape. And I was telling my kids, man, when we come down out of the Vizcaíno Desert, you see the Sea of Cortez, there's nothing. So we did all that, and then, oh my God, So they'd never caught a marlin. We went out, I think we had 9 marlin in the first hour. And they look at me, and they said, hey, Dad, can we do something else now? I want to strangle him, really,
Yeah, this is boring.
And so we go, I go, yeah, I asked the Pongero, and we went in, we started catching yellowfin. Patrick fly lines a sardine, swings, and out comes a marlin. I go, you hooked another marlin, and I know exactly what you mean. You go from, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen and accomplished in my angling life to, oh my God, another marlin?
That sounds like us 2 weeks ago on the Cortez trying to catch yellowtail. Oh, yeah, there's a biter. Oh, it's a bluefin.
Yeah, I
Cut it
know. I know. How about those big yellows out on Cortez?
Those are nice quality fish. Everything's 20 to 35 pounds. They're big ones.
Guadalupe Island fish, man.
Yeah, that place is special.
Yeah, it is.
So
You're right.
It's going to be missed.
Yes.
For sure. So the few of us that have got to fish it,
Yeah, I had some great times there.
it was something to,
Special.
Yes,
As you said.
it's not. There's nothing you can describe about it if you've never been there or
Yes.
you've never experienced it.
Yeah, it's so
So
cool.
I got lucky to get one season on the big boat fishing that stuff, and a couple trips on other boats, but it's special.
I made quite a few trips with Tommy on the Polaris Supreme, and it was great, man. We had so much fun. Halibut Man says, the Vagabond crew, awesome. Chowder, Seth, Fluffy, Adam, Joe, all great guys, and boy, can Lackey cast. He can fly line a bait better than anybody.
Guy's crazy fishing.
Yeah.
I can't throw a bait like he does underhand. He just, woo, and he goes. I don't know what he does, but I can't do it.
Man, we got to get Mike on the show one of these days.
Fun. Mike would be fun. And he's a great bass fisherman, too.
Yeah.
He loves bass fishing.
Love to talk to him about that.
You know what's sad is everybody on the long range boats, you couldn't sell us a ticket, couldn't pay us to go fishing in saltwater. But we'll all go bass fishing.
Yeah, I know. What is with that?
It's just, I think it's because we do it so much.
Yeah, I think so.
And
it's got to be.
The joys of just simple 2-pound fish that can be frustrating to catch.
Yes.
So
they're challenging.
And you're not on a boat.
Yeah.
Well, you're on a bass boat, but you're not on a sport boat, not at work. Yes.
Yes.
So,
yeah. It's different. It's a change, right?
It is.
All right, Jolene Thompson, who's a wonderful lady angler. Will, she is a super person, and she says, hi, Captain Will and Phil. How do you catch the bigger bull dorados, and what color of trolling feather do you sometimes catch them on? Is there any tips for catching bigger dorado?
Okay.
Big bait, big fish?
No. From what I've seen, it all depends on the school. So if you have a mixed school, and there's bigger ones mixed in, it's kind of, the smaller ones are like the little teenagers. They run around and want to eat everything. The big ones pick and choose. You'll watch them, they'll eat a dead bait. So I've seen it where, like, I've taken a sardine, slammed it on the deck, killed it, threw it in the water, and watched a big one eat it. So if it's wide open and there's bigger ones swimming around, you don't want to catch a little one. The little ones all want to eat live bait. They all want to chase something down. They're full of energy. They just want to go.
The big ones are thinking, how much energy do I have to expend?
Well, they can't outrun the little ones.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got a 5 or 6 pound dorado that's zooming around. A 20 pounder can't move as fast as that one does.
Yeah.
He probably can, but he's not trying to.
Yeah.
He's looking, I mean, the bigger fish start picking off the scraps that the little ones miss. So I would try a dead bait. If it's wide open like that and you want to try to get a bigger one, then try a dead sardine. It doesn't sound right.
Sounds counterintuitive.
It sounds, yes.
Yeah, but it works.
But it works. If they're that wide open on the corner, then a dead bait sometimes does it. As far as trolling wise, it's hit or miss. A lot of guys, the things I've seen get bit, the bigger dorado get bit on, they don't even make them anymore. Or like the CD18s, the CD14s.
Yeah, they don't make those anymore?
They don't make those anymore. I pulled out metal build Rapalas, and somebody's like, where'd you get those? Are those antiques?
Yeah, it makes you feel old, doesn't it?
Does.
Yeah, it totally does.
So I guess they don't make them anymore. You can't buy them. So you got to buy the plastic build ones, and if they don't swim, they don't swim.
Yeah.
You can't tune them anymore.
Yeah.
But I would not throw any kind of metal at a dorado. They tend to throw them back at you.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I wouldn't cast jigs at dorado. It sounds like a great idea, but it's a horrible idea.
Yeah. Jolene, great question there.
Thank you.
The best way to get a hold of, to book the boat is to call the landing? Is that
Call the landing or on the website. I believe Chris has a website up too where you can book through him.
But 310-832-8304 for the landing.
Yes, we do have open party day and a halves on the schedule. I'll probably put more up for October, but I think we have some up through September. And I'll be making October schedule depending on how fishing's going. Definitely trying to get out the weekends, either an overnight or day and a half. We'll try to do some weekdays. We threw one out today. It was slow to go, but then once it got momentum, last time I checked, we had one reservation left.
Nice.
So weekdays, I'm trying to get the boss to go out, a little bit cheaper than on the weekends. So if you guys want to try to jump on during the week, we're putting up a little weekday, special, not as expensive as the weekends. I think it's $15 less, which you're $20 less, which is a big difference compared. Not much, but it's something. I think
right.
I think our weekday day and a half I put out it's $560.
Yeah.
And our day and a halves now are at $585. Just price of everything going up.
Yeah, and not only that though, you should make the point that you're fishing with 10 people,
10
right?
10 people. 10 people.
So very limited load. Extremely limited.
I'd say it's more ultra limited. The only thing you can go is on a 6-pack boat from that point on.
Yeah.
But we do have a galley, we have bunks. We sleep 10 comfortably. we hold like 40 scoops of bait. Do have a fish hold. I put an RSW system in it. So we try to keep the water between 34 and 41 degrees. The bluefin we catch, yellowfin we catch, we gill and gut them on spot. Gives you guys a better quality of product. And it keeps my fish hold from heating up trying to cool those fish down so fast. So make sure all those are gill and gutted. You know, the minute they get on the boat, we bleed them, you know, spike them, bleed them, put them in a cooler with salt water running on them, then gill and gut them, put them back in the cooler, let them cool down some more, then we slide them in the fish hold after they're down to what the water temperature be 65 to 68 degrees. We get them down to 68, and then we can slide them in there and they're not 85.
Yeah.
Because those things, when you pull them out of the water, they're hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this way, it cools them off. We get them in there and they stay chilled. The chiller doesn't have to work as hard, and the fish stay a lot.
You get a great product
Yeah, you
that
get a
way.
great product.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're spending that and you're spending that kind of money to go fishing, you know, I want to give the best product possible.
Heck yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. Scott Grant says, you kind of answered some of this stuff, but he's got some more questions. Can you describe the boat, the size of the bunks? Are there any power plugs to charge a cell phone? How's the bow for casting? Rail size to rail, rod? You got good coffee on there?
it's got coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I can't tell you the quality
Just
of
had
the coffee.
one. Yeah.
I drink these.
I stopped those. I made a
One-
commitment to
I
my
drink 1 to
people
2 a
out
day.
there.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I made a commitment to not drinking the green ones anymore.
There you go.
I drink
Hey,
the
good.
0 sugar ones.
That's progress.
It's progress.
Yeah.
You gotta let it be at that.
Yeah.
But the bow is fine for casting. You get 2 or 3 guys up there, it's fine, which is almost half the boat. Rail rodding, it's got stainless rails all the way around it, so there's no low spots. There's a step up. It used to have rod holders all the way around the boat. I got rid of those because they were in my way. Trying to run a fish around the boat, hitting the rails or hitting my leg on the rails, I got tired of it. I got 2 in the bow and 3 in the stern. So as far as fighting big fish on that boat, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So next year, going to be more lights on the boat. There is power plugs in the bunk room for charging cell phones, so you don't have to, you have some place to charge it.
Yeah.
Plus access for plugs in the galley.
Yeah.
You know, it's 10 guys. I think I have 2 plugs in the bunk room or 3 plugs. The bunks they're not huge. I mean, it's a 6-pack. It's almost like a 6-pack boat. You got the bow. It's the bow. You got 6 bunks in the bow and 4 bunks that are off in its own little
Compartment.
part. It's all in the bow, but it's toward the middle of the boat.
Yeah.
So they're relatively decent size. I mean, the bow bunks, if you're 6'4", 6'5", you'll be okay. The ones in the middle compartment be a little tight,
Yeah.
but there's space.
Yeah.
They'd be comfortable to sleep in.
All right, perfect. That all sounds good. Ahmed wants to know, what's the longest trip in terms of days that you do on the boat? How long?
Probably a day and a half, maybe a 2-day.
Yeah.
It's not for the bait capacity. It's more for the water system.
Uh-huh.
The amount of water we hold, we got to make sure we don't run out of fresh water.
Yeah.
So with being a little boat, sometimes some things are our enemy. If I had to figure it out, I maybe try to put another 50-gallon tank up top if we want to do a 2-day, so we had 50 gallons in reserve, and run a hose and drain it down or something like that, a bladder or something up top. But I got to get rails made for the boat next year too for the top. Like I said, we're working on it. It's only been up and running since July, so there's things going. I mean, he completely gutted it, redid it.
Beautiful.
So there's other things that we need to do.
They spent a lot of money on that,
He
right?
did.
It seems like.
So
it's really beautiful.
it's a great boat. I mean, it fishes well. It's just it's like it's a boat.
Small boat, what are the advantages it gives you in terms of fishing? You said it stops fast.
Stops fast.
Is it pretty stealth?
It is. I made drifts. We fished one where we made drifts, and I'd mark a couple, but you don't normally see it up here, but it's kind of cool when you're drifting around, you're hanging a fish here, hanging a fish there, and they're like, "You marking anything?" And you look over the side and you say, "Hey, there goes one right there." You see a 50-pound bluefin shoot through the corner.
How
or
cool is that?
Through the corner. I mean, you're not going to see it on a big boat as much, especially when you're only throwing 1s or 2s. It's the advantages. The only disadvantage is there's less hooks in the water, so our fish counts look different. But you look at the ratio. If I take 10 guys out, and I got a handful of Dorado, and 2 handfuls of yellow, I got 15 fish for 10 guys.
Yeah.
You know, take 30 guys fishing, you catch 20 fish. It looks better. I got 20, but is it per rod?
Yeah.
So our fish counts aren't as high, but our fish counts per average seem to be more. We seem to do better 1 or 2 person, one around on everybody, or try to.
Yeah. Right.
So it's tough. It's a small boat, so the less baits in the water, the less opportunities you have to hook things. So
Yes.
it can be wide open. If I've got 6 guys that are hooked up, I've got 4 guys that aren't bit. It's hard to put sometimes it's hard to put numbers on the boat because most everybody's already hooked up.
Yeah. Right.
So that's the biggest disadvantage I'd say to having a small boat is just you don't have the many hooks with baits on them.
Yeah. Right.
So
Nelson DG, does the El Patron have a shower?
yes,
Okay, great. How many heads does it have? He wants to
it's
know.
got 1.5 right now.
Uh-huh.
The other one is in the progress. We're running. It's a storage closet right now, but it will have 2 heads next year. The shower's already put in. If I was doing 2-day trips, I'd pull everything out of there and put a latch on it and call it a shower, and we'd have a head and a shower.
Oh, that's nice. Perfect.
There's definitely a shower on the boat.
Nelson also wants to know, do you ever run a full day trip? They just ran one,
they
right?
They just came back in from a 5:30 to 5:30 trip, I
Yeah.
believe. I thought that was them backing in.
It sounded like it.
Yes.
It sounded like the engines on
No
it.
exhaust mufflers on that boat whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be on with you. We're going to be doing September 15th. We're doing 5:30 to 5:30 or 6 to 6, whatever it is. And that time of the year, I'm hoping that we do have a shot at some offshore stuff. Now it's a little dicey, right?
Now it's dicey.
Starting to see it, but it's
Starting
not
to see
there.
it.
Like
Good thing. Good. I like to think I've been around for so long, and people.
You
talk
don't look
about-
very
I
old,
know,
by the way.
I'm fucking old. I'm not gonna watch my language. I'm old.
How old are you?
I'm 50.
That's not that. I'm
I feel
old.
old. I've been. When you think when you started pinheading in 1993, that's a long time.
I started pinheading in 1972.
Started on the Tornado with Raymond. I think he's still there.
Yeah, yes.
So caught my first yellowfin tune on that boat, 1992. 92.
You're not that old, man.
So, but
You look
know
great,
what
by
I
the way.
learned? I learned a lot about Catalina from Raymond on the Tornado.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from, Tony Saldivar when he was around.
Yeah.
From Wes, guys that fished a lot of sea bass stuff. Got to work with, I can't think of his name, Mark, that used to run the Phantom back in the day.
Oh, Mark Thompson.
Mark Thompson, yes. All great guys. Eric,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little spots that, some of these full day guys don't realize are there, or the way the island fishes certain areas that you don't fish in the summertime, that you only fish in spring and fall when you have the candy or the squid.
Right,
You
right.
don't even go there and try to look because it's pointless.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, I said one of the favorite places to fish, Catalina, it's got to be the Farnsworth, the most humbling place in the world when it bites.
Oh my God.
Seen it.
Structure just ruined you
It's
there.
that 60-foot pinnacle, they know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, they do.
You hook 150 and you get 4.
Yeah, I know, man. It's
But
brutal.
So I mean, either we'll fish offshore or I'll sneak around Catalina. And, I love bass fishing at Catalina. People complain there's no bass there. It's hard, but you get the right conditions and some of the spots that are off the beaten path that nobody knows about or fishes. There's some big fish there. There's some 3 to 8 pound calicos that are still at the island. They're just not fished very often.
Yeah.
And good thing about a little boat, 50-foot boat, it's like Alan Watson on the Dreamer. He can get up tight.
Yes.
I can put that boat in 2 fathoms of water or less. Chris might be uncomfortable, but hey, it's fishing.
Yeah.
I've been on that, that Marty Osa with Tony in 2 fathoms.
Yeah,
Shoot,
yeah.
We've been on the Tornado in 2 fathoms.
Oh, yeah, I know,
Fishing
man.
beaches. So
It gets crazy.
It's good. I mean, so we'll do something. I mean, if the offshore bite's good, or if the opportunity arises, then yes, we definitely go offshore fishing. But if not, going to make the best decision possible
Yeah.
where we're going to fish, and where everybody can catch something, not just let's swing for the fences and hope for the best.
Yeah, I
Let's-
like your approach. You're taking in a multitude of factors. The people's comfort, whether they're comfortable or not. Is everybody involved having fun? All of these factors equal a great trip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no question. All right, Israel says, is the El Patron going to stay up here at 22nd Street, or is it going to Puerto Vallarta as planned?
It's not going to Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, it's going to stay here.
It's going to stay up here. It may go to San Diego next year someplace in the summer. Not sure yet.
Yeah.
But I think the plans changed after everything kind of fell. I don't know what happened, but I don't think it stayed the same plan as they had.
All right, perfect. Yeah, that's good. By the way, 100 people watching right now. Tons of people enjoying the show tonight. I want to remind you to hit the like button, or Will is going to break into tears if he doesn't see way more likes up there. Actually, it's me. I know, it's me. I'm going to break into tears. Make sure you share these videos. Subscribe, of course, to the channel. Tick the bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. Man, look at the likes. Going up and up and up and up. Thanks, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. I do want to mention to you, I will take some breather here for a second, and we're going to keep him for about an hour, maybe longer. I don't know. We'll let him decide when we hit an hour. But don't forget, we have a trip on the Independence, October the 20th. Make sure you go to independencesportfishing.com and check that out. It's starting to book up. It's looking good. I can't wait to do that. You got a ton of questions, a ton of enthusiasm. People are learning about the El Patron. You're a great guest. I'm having fun.
There you go.
I mean, hey, Sam De La Torre is able to spend time with his wife instead of being...
I'm pinch hitting for him.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, man. All right, let's see. What do we have here? We've got Scott Grant saying, hey, you're a young captain. What are you talking about, man? You're a young guy.
Oh.
Nelson DG, I said the same thing, man. I'm 65. So
I'm waiting for these albacore to come back, and these guys that all have boats go, how do you catch those things?
I know. That's going to be cool. And then, yeah, what do you do again?
I wish I had the weather window. I really want to go try something. But
wait a second now. You've said it earlier in tonight's show. I didn't go by me, but I didn't grab it, and now I'm grabbing it. You're convinced there's albacore somewhere, but we have this opportunity to catch these bluefin and now this dorado and everything else, so we're not looking.
No.
Are you convinced if you went out there and jigged around, you catch some albies?
If I ran to certain areas, I could probably find something.
Yeah?
And then everybody would hate me.
I don't know.
No, they'd hate me.
Well, let me tell you.
It's $6 a gallon fuel.
Well, that's true. That's true.
They'd seriously hate me. I'd have no friends to
the
talk to.
The public might pay extra to go fish albies.
But it's even further than everybody's running right now. I think I mapped it out. It's 140 miles from here.
Oh, okay.
So that's going around the island. The Cortez Tanner's 81. It's 48 miles past.
What are we talking? 70, 90? Further than that, right?
You're looking at like the Bell.
Yeah, okay.
Out there on the Bell, the trunk of the elephant, stuff like that. Not a lot of places these people have ever heard of.
Yeah, right.
But they're there.
And conditions look good, huh?
No one's been there.
Yeah.
But if they're catching a few, if they caught one on the Tanner last weekend on the Rooster, okay, there's outskirts of fish. You just have to slide further out to where.
Damn it! I told you there was going to be albacore this year. Yes,
There's all 7 of them that have been caught.
Yeah, I know. Please don't rub it in. Nelson DG says, just wanted to say this is one great show, and thank you, Captain Will, for being here. He's really, really loving everything you're doing. Isaac says, good evening. Sorry, late to the show. Nelson DG, does the El Patron ever fish Santa Barbara Island?
We do.
Have you fished sea bass on that boat?
I have not. The boat didn't start until July.
Right.
So next year, yes, we will be fishing sea bass, fishing yellows. Santa Barbara Island special.
It is. It's another special place.
It's either really, really good or it's really, really bad. So it just depends on how the island wants to fish.
Yeah.
So it's.
And it changes from day to day. You're out there, it's wide open one day, and then you go back and it's like.
The problem with it being so small and with the MPLA right there, if there's there's no conditions. If you put 20 boats on that thing,
you're done. Yeah, for sure. Mike Morris, I started as a deckhand on the Vaquero in 1970 at 22nd Street Landing. Mike, I think you're older than me. I don't know if that's possible.
I
think you are, man.
1970.
Mike, thanks for sharing that. I was fishing in those days, that's for sure. I started as a pinhead in 72-ish.
Shoot, I started fishing 22nd Street on the
Queen of the Sea with
Queen of the
Dipley.
Sea, yes.
Oh, I just dreamt that up. Really?
Three-quarter day fishing.
Was Dipley
bonita.
running it?
Yes, catching bonita.
Yeah, no, man. Those are funny times, let me tell you.
You know, you're going up the coast catching bonita, and I was stoked. I mean, people were catching rockfish, and
You
I
know,
was like 14. I was out there. My mom would drop me off, and I'd
Oh,
go
yeah.
catch bonita. And I remember, and then you had to learn how to fly line an anchovy on a number 4 hook and 20 pound or whatever. I remember trying to catch, looking for yellows off there, and caught like a 6 or 7 pound bonita. The thing was huge. And another little kid that was like 12 caught like a 9 pounder and bumped me out of jackpot. And then they yelled jackpot. The deckhand's like, "Where's your fish?" I'm like, "It's not bigger than that one." He goes, "Go get it." He's like, "You two got the biggest fish on the boat." He's like, "You two need to be proud of what you did. You
Yeah,
beat
yeah.
all these adults." I'm like, so I mean, it's,
how cool.
and it is, and I have to say, I definitely seen a difference in how children are taken, young anglers are taken on boats now compared to when they were back when I started fishing.
What do you see?
Well, back then, you know, you had your overnight guys that had their dedicated, you know, deadheads or dedicated, you know, regulars. Last thing you want to see was like a 14-year-old kid catch the jackpot
Yeah, right.
because you know it's going to go in their pocket.
Yeah, they don't
We were
understand.
14. We didn't know anything. We just
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of
I
money.
got money.
I got money. I can pay for
I
my
go
galley.
show my mom and dad.
I can go fishing again.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
But now it's more or less, you know, you see a young kid, you want him to catch a fish. So, you know, I may hook and hand a fish or something like that. If I hook one, I'm going to hand it off. It's not about. It's about the next generation.
Yeah, it's about
people.
extending
it's getting
this
those
sport.
guys hooked on fishing and getting their passion going. You know, all kids love catching. It's the fishing part that's the problem.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know, my kids love to catch.
Yeah.
But fishing is
yeah, it
they-
takes
they don't-
patience and
Yeah, they'd rather sleep on the back deck of the bass boat.
wake me up when they're
yeah,
biting.
wake me up when something's biting.
Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta curve their enthusiasm to where it can be. But you know, it's awesome to see someone that's 12 or 14 catch a fish of a lifetime for them. You know, catch their first yellowtail, catch their first tuna. You know, just the amount. You know, watching dad be proud of his kid pulling on doing stuff like it. It's awesome because
Yeah.
you become part of that whole experience.
You
for
do.
them.
And you become part of that memory for
Yes.
them. Yeah.
Opposed to the memories of, I almost had a yellowtail, but that deckhand did everything he could do to break me off, and I lost my fish
Yeah,
because
right.
his buddy had a barracuda.
Right, right.
Yeah, and then what you resent ever wanting to go back to that boat. The
Yeah,
older
absolutely.
you get because you got burnt.
Yep.
You know, even though you're a kid, but
That memory sticks with you.
Sticks with you.
Sure.
So I try to make sure, the younger anglers catch fish. They do what they can. They're not overlooked. That's the future of the business.
You darn
I mean,
right, man.
I'm sorry if Dad wants to come fishing and he takes his son fishing for the first time. I get his son hooked on fishing. Now his dad has to come fishing even more because his son wants to do it.
Yeah, his son's
So
going
now
to be bugging
and
him.
I got 2 paid people.
Yeah,
I already
exactly.
had 1 and now I got 2.
Good
Same
business
thing.
decision, right?
There you go.
Absolutely. Sergio Lopez says he is so excited because he's going fishing on the El Patron on September 24th. Sergio, you're going to have a lot of fun with this guy, man. Now you know Will.
Trip. I think
Is
that's
it?
a day and a half trip too.
Yeah,
So,
cool.
I don't
Needless
know.
to say, on your day and a half trips, you're fishing where you think the opportunity is the best.
Yes, I'm gonna fish either the outer banks, fish the banks if there bites there again, or we'll run down and look around. I mean, the only thing about fishing the Tanner and the Tanner was I didn't have to do the knife jigging in the dark. We'd get there and you'd probably get a limit of tuna. It was good fishing. The opportunity wasn't, you couldn't really stop because you need to get anchored up and get set up properly. So we'd run out there and I would just go straight there. Now it's, if it's not there, then yeah, you do a little more night fishing, you look around. So just depends. I mean, it's hard to justify knife jigging when you've got opportunity to catch your bluefin sitting on the anchor.
Yeah.
And driving around and hoping. I mean, you catch a limit, and then you go looking, but now I'm killing my crew members.
I know. Yeah,
And
it really
just
is
burning
brutal
them
on
out when they
this.
want to go, and it's
I hear
8
you.
hours back to the dock from the bank for us. So it's a long run back
Yeah.
in to try to knife fish. I mean, like I said, tonight I'm gonna give it an hour or two looking. I can be there by if I leave at 9, I can probably be down there by 12:30ish. Look around for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I can still skedaddle down to where I need to go before daylight, which is at 6.
Yeah.
So I still got 6 hours to travel,
Yes.
or 4 hours to travel. So it's making the decisions of where you can do and what you want to do. You know, you got to juggle the. I remember when I got my license, I wasn't always ready to run a boat, and then when I got told I was running a trip, I was like, oh boy, talk about nervous.
Yeah, right.
So
got a lot of responsibility.
oh yeah, and it's just the amount, the pressure's all on you to
Yes.
decision making.
Yep.
You swing for hey, it's fishing though. You sometimes you catch them, sometimes you don't.
That's
And
it.
It's fishing. It's always a learning game. So even when I don't, I've got lucky, knock on wood, that I've never came in with absolutely nothing on the boat. I've
Yep.
always scratched something. It ain't always been much, but I've scratched something.
That's good, man.
I've made some decisions where I've gone the right direction, it's paid off, and I've made decisions where I've
Screwed up.
screwed up.
Yeah,
but
you're human, huh?
that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's your gut feeling sometimes of like, I need to go do this.
Yes. Yeah, and sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong.
Yeah.
Michael Limon says, don't make me come down there and do jumping jacks. So he was a kid, Michael. He's here a lot. He fishes on the docks. He's a great kid. His grandpa is down here with him a lot. Also, Dan Lightfoot. He was at the tackle store on this live show last week, and I said, do some jumping jacks. And then Chuck Zimmer comes on and goes, I'll give him $1 for every jump. The kid did 75 jumping jacks. He made $75 on the show.
Why'd he stop?
He made more than I made on the show.
But why'd he stop?
I said, hey, we've soaked Chuck for enough, Stop. Give the poor guy a break. Giver Plus, any word on local yellowtail? I haven't seen a lot of local yellows here
I haven't
this
seen
year.
him. I haven't seen him yet. I haven't seen any of the 3/4 day guys catching them.
Yeah, not
The water locally, I think, turned over. Like,
Yeah.
I was seeing like 63 to 65.
I think that's the problem with the bass fight here in the last week or so. It's shut off. Yeah. And I think
That
that's it.
hurricane. They have that. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to push water up. Well, it
Yeah.
also cools the water off.
Yeah, when it comes through with those winds, right?
Well, yeah, that's what it does.
Yep.
To transfer the surface temperature to deeper water. It cools the water off a few degrees, and a lot of that probably happened.
All right. Hey, if you're tuning in to see Tackle Shop Confessions, we've got Captain Will here from the El Patron because it's Sam's wife's birthday. We'll be back next Tuesday with that show. Joel Cordova says, I'm going on a 1.5 day trip. Oh, my goodness. I got to go do something here because we have so many questions coming in. Will, I'm just going to sit here for 1 second while I get this straightened out for us. It's getting insane. Everybody wants to talk to you. Joel says he's going on a 1.5 day trip out of Point Loma this Saturday. 2 or 3 days after the full moon. What are your thoughts? Also, would like to get into the Dorado. What do you think about that?
Day and a half leaving this Saturday.
Yeah, and it's 3 days after the full moon. Do you like that moon phase? Do you not
I
like
don't even
it?
pay attention to the moon phase.
You
I just
don't,
go
okay.
fishing.
Yeah,
They're probably fishing the kelps below the Coronados. They're probably going to get done on the Dorado, fish some yellowfin, and then they'll go poke around for bluefin after that.
yeah. Okay, perfect. Vinji Bajim, I'm just butchering your name. I apologize. But if you go as far as Santa Barbara Island, how about San Nick? Do you do that?
I would go to San Nick. It's 70 miles. It's all weather permitting. I mean, it's not out of my thoughts.
Yeah, it's within your range.
Yeah, it's well within my range. It's closer than the Outer Banks, and we did a Tanner on a overnight. I mean, I had to leave at 10:30 in the morning and come back, but because I had a trip that night. So I mean, it's doable.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Nick is 74 miles.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, the problem with that is that's where the wind lives. So
Yeah.
You fall fishing again. You want to fish Nick? Best time is in the fall, or that's when it's the best weather windows.
Albert Roy says he worked on the Victory, the same landing that time Queen's Wharf sport fishing. He worked on the Victory, I guess, quite some time ago. Yellowtail 69 Wasabi. I fished with you on the Toronado. Have
Probably.
pictures of you, Will. I hope they're clean, for God's sakes.
Oh, I told you I've been around for a long time.
Got 2 paying customers with Ethan, but never had money. LOL. Sergio Lopez, it's actually a full day trip. He'll be out on the 24th. He's hoping for local Dorado at that time. 540 Slingers, that's Jeff Yeomans. Jeff says, good evening, Phil and Will. It's good to see you, Will. Brandon, hey, Captain Will, heading out tomorrow night on a 1.5 day trip on the Toronado. Any recommendations on what to bring for the banks? He says they're fishing the banks. I'm not so sure they are, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, the Cortez is biting. There's yellows on the Cortez.
That's true.
I would say everything from 20 pound to 100 pound. Like we talked about.
Bring the kitchen sink.
You got to bring it all. You don't know what you're going to do. I don't know if Raymond's fishing the bigger bluefin or if he's running straight to the bank. I mean, it all depends. So on an overnight trip or day and a half, you almost have to bring the whole rod assortment. I mean, 20, 30, 40, or well, you can probably get away without 40, but I'd bring 40 anyways. A 60 pound and a 100 pound stick, or at least an 80 pound stick for nighttime knife jigging or dropper loop fishing.
Yeah, for sure. And Brandon, your weather's going to moderate. I think you're going to have nice weather here,
to get nicer this weekend. So
yeah.
Hopefully, I might stick my nose out there on Saturday. I got a day and a half tonight, a day and a half Thursday night for Friday, comes back Saturday morning, a day and a half Saturday night, fishing Sunday, comes back Monday morning. I do have openings for that Monday night fishing. Tuesday comes back Wednesday if people want to jump on. But the other ones are sold out, so I may stick my nose out there to the Tanner one of those trips, depending. If we go to the Cortez, it's going to be a later. I have to have the right weather window to get to the Cortez, being a smaller boat. So
yeah.
If it's what these guys can make it on a bigger boat, I can't make it. It's just too far.
Right, I get it.
And I got to come home.
Yeah.
So it's not getting there sometimes, it's getting back. The weather came up last weekend. It took us 4 hours to go from the east end of Clemente to get to Catalina.
Oh my God.
And that's only 24 miles.
Brutal.
So then it backed off and we could go. But I mean, I have to watch the weather windows.
Yeah.
It's not a big boat. It's a little boat. It can take it, but there's no reason for me to make everybody uncomfortable on the boat just so I can go.
Right, I got you.
So it's not worth it sometimes.
Isaac just sent us $20 for God's sakes. Isaac, deeply appreciated. Thank you so much for your support for Freeman Adventures. Man, you are number one. Hope you and Ethan are having fun tonight. Vili says, oh shoot, I got to run over there again. Too many comments, Will. You're too popular. Let me tell you. If we had a bigger budget around here, I'd have somebody doing this. He says this year Hamachi have been slow. At least that's how he feels. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of yellow. Well, no, I mean you're talking about that Cortez bank yellowtail. That's been pretty good, right?
It was good. It was good at the beginning of in June. It was really good, but I mean it gets hit a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to be. You think back 2008, 2009, or even like. Sound old again.
Yeah.
Mid 2000s, the only boats that really fished Tanner and Cortez were the LA to Newport guys.
Yes.
San Diego boats didn't fish.
They didn't
fish up here.
No.
And with that bluefin being up here, I kick myself in the butt when I think about it. I remember when I started on the XL, I was like, right on, I'm going to go see all these exotic places. I was fishing the backside of San Clemente Island. I was like, seriously?
Yeah, really?
I used to fish here on the Tornado and the El Dorado.
Yeah.
Come on.
I signed up for some exotic stuff.
I want to see some exotic places, and I spent a lot of time on the backside of Clemente. So, I mean, it's just, there's more boat pressure now, so you don't see the bigger numbers.
You're making a great point. You're absolutely right.
Like it used to be. I mean, you have them scattered, so it's.
It used to be those San Diego boys wouldn't be seen dead next to an LAOC boat.
No.
They didn't want to be anywhere near them.
No.
Right? You know that whole thing.
No, and you know what's awesome about the modern things, everybody's got a dispatch radio. Everybody's got, we're coming up with where we can talk on cell phones, text messages. Not everybody's coded up anymore. They still are, but you can still talk to people.
Yeah.
And people are willing to talk to each other differently now than they used to be.
Yeah.
And, I've had San Diego guys that have asked, hey, man, how do you catch it? Is there yellows to catch it?
Clemente?
San Clemente? And I'm like, well, yeah, get in there, give them the information. because they don't do it all the time. But, LA, Orange County boats, we fish Clemente all the time. So there's a little bit of local knowledge that goes into it growing up. It's like trying to take a guy from San Diego, make him go sea bass fishing at Catalina.
Right.
Or me trying to go sea bass fishing at the Channel Islands. I have no idea what I'd be doing.
Yeah, right.
I'm lucky to be partnered up. I've got someone behind me that's helping me out right now. Hopefully I can keep him around that came from that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And,
super good guy.
Bring his expertise of what he knows up there. That could be a match, where these guys, that stuff bites up there. I can do a day and a half up the line, go fish, Santa Cruz, and knock the crap out of sea bass, where the guys here would never venture up there to Santa Cruz because they don't know how to catch them.
Yeah.
They don't know the spots.
Right.
So I look at opportunities where there's opportunity. It can't all be one way.
Exactly. All right, Isaac says happy birthday to Sam's wife, Matt Tamayo. Great show tonight, gents. If you were going on a 1.5-day trip tonight out of Long Beach, right now, what gear would you absolutely bring, Will?
A 25 or 30 pound rod, a 50 pound rod, and a 100 pound rod. If I only had, those are what I would definitely have in my arsenal. Now, if you add on the extra stuff, you can do that too. If you want to bring a jig stick, if you want to bring a 20 pound bait rod, you want to bring a 40, all that stuff. But I would have at least a 25 to 30 pound rod, that 50 pound stick, and a heavy rod.
All right, good stuff. Perfect advice. Isaac says, how's the weather looking on Monday? I thought it blows up Sunday night a little bit out there. I'm not sure.
I haven't looked that far ahead
Yeah.
because it changes so fast.
Yeah, I know. Yep. Beely says, yeah, the weather's up at Nick, and it can be miserable, but I've caught my personal best yellowtail, even better than the mossbacks I've caught at San Clemente Island. There's some big forkies. There's some big sheep's head. There's some sea bass. There's some big halibut. Nick can be a great place. No doubt.
Good spot. Clemente's, you know what? Clemente, I see a lot of the fish that I've seen at Clemente, even the big ones. I'm dating myself again. Back in like 2000, we had really good fishing in the cove, and it was all in the dark on squid when the albacore stopped biting. It was like it went away, and all the overnight boats from LA to Newport were sliding in because we could get squid from the light boats. And I remember catching 200, 300 of those fish a night for 30 guys that were all 20 to 25 pound fish. A 30 pound fish is big at Clemente.
Yeah, right.
SBI, I've seen 25 to 50 pound fish. Nick, those fish that are, in certain spots are 25, 35 pound fish. My personal best yellow still is off the Cortez. I think I was on your website a long time ago on a 976 tuna trip. We didn't have very many guys. I think it was like a 45 or 50 pounder that we caught out there.
What a bitchin' fish.
On 40 pound back in the day where you didn't fish any drag at all and you just pulled really hard. But, I've got lucky to see a few. When, people look at them, and when you see a fish that's over 40, it's over 40. When you see a fish that's 50, 60 pounds, that fish is special. I got lucky.
Oh, heck yeah.
I got lucky, before I left, we fished an 8-day trip down to the rocks, and the yellowtail fishing down there was awesome, and I got to see 2 of those 60-pound fish, caught on a dropper loop. And
how bitchin' is that?
They're awesome fish. And
wow.
They're that big. It's cool. But, it's been a slow season for sure for the yellows. It's not as good as it was last year. Last year had a good kelp fishing for probably 2 weeks where everything was 15 to 25 pounds.
I know. We got a little taste of that a few days ago, but dried up pretty quick. We'll see. Jeff Yeomans, 540 Slinger, says the yellows ate the surface iron at Cortez over the weekend full speed. Brandon wants to know, are they eating the yo-yo iron out there? I would guess yes, right?
If they're eating the surface iron, they eat the yo-yo iron.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that should be. And Brandon says that's his favorite kind of fishing. Matt Tamayo and Brandon are getting together. They're going to be fishing there together.
Who doesn't like surface iron fishing yellowtail?
Man, come on. Was there anything better? I do like yo-yo iron fishing, though, too. I really do. You don't get the visual. You know,
No.
the visual's bitching
You know what?
when you're
It's,
surface iron
when
fishing.
you talk about that, so one of the groups we had all the time would we did goof off, or they did crew fish offs.
Yeah.
And I remember we were at San Pablo and fishing San Pablo Bay. We had really good yellowtail fish.
This is just the crew or what?
Well, no, this is on the XL long
okay.
range. So the group caught enough, and they said, okay, time out, and they stopped it, and they pulled out those little stupid ice rods
Oh, no.
with 10-pound test. And it was like first yellowtail, then we couldn't catch it yet. The yellowtail stopped biting. But it's like all the pastures, one person was chumming.
Oh, that's bitching.
And we had passengers that had to gaff our fish.
Oh, that's cool,
So
man.
then we was like, okay, first fish that was 18 inches, and it's full contact fishing, so everything goes. I mean, you talk about we're fishing dirty. You got to protect your rod from everybody. The dikes are coming out. The lines are getting broke off. I mean, it's full contact.
Sounds like a hockey game.
Oh yeah, you know. And then you get that, and then they're like, okay, they're like, no more full contact fishing. Let's say first crew member catches a yellowtail. And I remember I went for a surface iron rod, and Vance, who's now running the XL, he went for the same rod I did, and I was like, crap. And he's probably one of the best surface iron guys I've seen out there. He's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Dana Point kid. And I picked up a yo-yo jig, like you say, catching yo-yo fish. And it was the first person to catch a yellowtail. And we both saw the fish pop at the same time. I threw the yo-yo jig. He threw the surface jig. He hooked up on the surface jig. I hooked one on the yo-yo.
Oh, how cool.
But him having 30-pound on a surface iron and me and having 50-pound on the yo-yo, I straight wound that thing. And they were trying to gaff it, and I was trying to bounce it at the same time. So it was a drag race between who could get it to the boat.
Cool.
And I've seen that guy catch 25-pound fish at the ridge in 20 seconds when they eat the surface iron.
Oh, how cool.
I mean, you keep their head coming,
Yep.
and they come in hot.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but he still fishes an old tatty rod that's fiberglass heavy, kind of like the old 540s, 530s.
Yeah.
The long forgotten parabolic,
Yeah, for sure.
rods that you could launch a mile.
I know. Hey, are you able to stay a little bit longer?
Yeah, I can stay a little bit longer.
I mean, we got way too many questions.
I
How long does
guess
it feel
what I
like you've been on the show? Yeah, a little bit better than that, actually. 66 minutes, man, and it's going great. You're awesome, Will. All right, let me get back to a couple questions. Jeff said, I don't think anybody tried the yo-yo iron on our trip out there when they were on Cortez, all surface iron. Mark Cooper will be on the El Patron September 22nd, 1.5-day trip. He says, after listening to this, he can't wait. He can't wait. And now you know Will, Mark, so you can walk up, you know exactly who he is. That's the point of these podcasts. Isaac says, your thoughts on the reverse dropper loop. Do you like a reverse dropper loop?
The reverse drop, that's what for fishing what?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Isaac, you're going to have to, yeah, what are you talking about? For fishing what? Matt Tamayo, will he, the absolute right guy, to have a part of your crew? Will, he's the absolute right guy to have as part of your crew.
Thank you.
Who is that, by the way?
I don't know.
Oh, it's you, I think. I think it's you. All right, Billy, Clemente Calico fishing is excellent. I dropped down to 15-pound fluoro, way to go. That's what I say. And 42-gram Colt snipers. Man, if you're having trouble getting bit in a bass fight, drop your line down a little bit, right? Choose a hot bait.
Hot bait, smaller line, bass are biting, 15 pounds a good choice.
Yep. Nelson DG says, hey, is there an El Patron t-shirt we can purchase?
I believe he's got t-shirts being made.
I got one, actually. I was wearing it today, wasn't I? Or no, I'm wearing something else today, but I was wearing it yesterday.
I'm hoping I can get one. The
captain needs a shirt.
Yeah,
Nelson.
He got rid of all his extra large real quick before I got to the boat. So
Nelson, you're right after Will gets one. How's that? Tim Marquez, who's a super great guy. Tim, hope you're doing well, my friend. He's heading to Catalina tomorrow. What should he bring, gear-wise?
20, 30, 40 pound. 15.
You think that'll do it?
Probably.
Yeah, right? I would think
15
so.
15 to 40 and a jig stick.
Yep. Captain Will, this is Brandon. With your experience on how these regulations work, do you ever see Mexico opening up Guadalupe Island again? No. I had so much fun when I was a kid. My first 6-day trip on the old Holiday with that big crow's nest up there. Steve Giffen. Yeah, what is it now?
It's now the Tribute.
That's right, yeah. Are they going to open it up again? I don't think so.
I,
It's hard
I
to tell.
they're using because you have to go into Ensenada to check in, check out. So they're using that. Oh, we don't have the staffing. Uh, they made their research box where we can fish, where we can't fish, and I think they just or the Mexican government liked the idea of everybody pooled in and gave money, but then they have a chance to. They'll say, "Oh yeah, we're going to open it up," and we don't have any funding. We don't have the people, manpower. I hope they do open it up,
Yeah, it'd be great.
but I don't really foresee it happening. It will probably get back open to divers because of the sharks. They've got a bigger lobbying side.
Those
right
guys
there.
just like went out of business overnight.
Oh, dude.
My God. They're just like, we're closing Guadalupe Island. These guys are booked for 3, 4, 5 years.
You know, what's Shark Week going to do?
God, I don't know.
I mean, how do you film great white sharks without Guadalupe?
I know.
That's where they always were.
Yeah.
You know, there's whole series made on Guadalupe Island sharks. I mean,
It's amazing.
and they were learning so much more about them, being able to dive and see how they acted because it was such a clear water thing.
Yeah.
I mean, those people tell me like, oh, I'd free dive at South Africa, no problem. And I'm like, I'd never free dive at Guadalupe Island if you paid me to.
I wouldn't either.
They don't eat people. Okay, well, I don't want to be the first one
They
to find that
rarely
out.
do. I don't want to be the guy that they look something, they think I'm a sea lion, you know? I don't want to be that guy.
I've seen that one kid get put in that fiberglass box or that plexiglass box. No, that one took a shot at him. Broke the box. I guarantee you swim around out there, they're going to eat you.
Yeah, I get that feeling too, right? Yeah, I'm not doing that.
It's still a whole thing of, oh, don't worry, they only bite you, they won't eat you.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, it's still.
Well, the bite is usually so
Normally they
catastrophic.
swim
You're
back
dead.
around. Normally they swim back around and eat whatever died.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not an expert Shark Week person, but that's just nature. You know?
Exactly.
No, I don't want to get involved.
Billy says scrambled egg yo-yo is my go-to in colder weather. Scrambled egg yo-yo is a good hot jig, man.
Scrambled
yellows.
mackerel is great too.
Yeah.
I remember when that first came out,
Yeah.
people started asking for it. It's a good color.
Tim Marquez says Laredo yellowtail fishing on the yo-yo iron is awesome. Have you fished Laredo before?
I've never got to
I
fish
have.
down
I
there.
love that place. And Tim's right.
I heard it's really hot though.
It can get hot, but a lot of Baja can. But I mean, if you go the right time of year, like we used to go, my brother and I, every Christmas vacation. It was
There you go.
freaking cold down there. But the yellows bit, and 19 hours, you're in Laredo, you're in paradise. We used to stay at a place called the Salvatierra on the edge of town. I think it was $3 a night. And there
Sure,
was,
it's a little more than that now.
yeah, it might be sick. I mean, it's pretty bad. I'm sure it doesn't even exist anymore. But when you're kids and you don't have any money,
Oh, you don't care.
yeah, you don't care. You just want to go fishing. And there was a guy there who came out. I might have this a little bit wrong, but I think he was missing a leg, and his name was Leonard Luzier. And he made, what jig did he make? Somebody out there might know. He was this guy, I can't remember, but he was a famous guy, and he ended up at this Hotel Salvatierra. And I'm going, really? You're the guy that, oh yeah, and he had all these jigs, and you never know who you're going to meet. But he's right. There's some awesome yellowtail action down there. Daniel Lianos would love to fish with you sometime, have friends with the same addiction. Could we contact you through Mr. Phil in the future? What are your costs per person on a 10-pack boat chasing tuna? Can they contact you personally, or do you want them to go through the
They'd have
landing?
to
or
go
what?
through the office or through the website, not through me. I just run the boat. I appreciate it. I got a little bass boat. You want to go bass fishing? Hey, no problem.
Yeah, right.
But
Well, if you have a question for Will, Daniel, ask me, and I'll run them down there, and then I'll let you know, or ask them right now.
But
go
I
ahead.
think our cost per person, like I said, weekday rate right now, we're trying to get data apps out for $560. So $560 a person. Fuel did go up in price, so there's a fuel surcharge that we have to incur, which is I think $20 per person, which isn't a lot, but fuel went up $1 in like the last 2 weeks. So we've been biting the bullet, not doing it. So now we have to do it, and it's $585 on the weekends. But we're trying to do a weekday thing where we get you guys out on the weekdays, get the boat off the dock, get the boat fishing, at $560. Like I said, if you guys are interested, definitely let Phil know, hit him up. That way I know he can run me down. He can text me, say, hey, I got a bunch of people that are interested in staying at the house
Absolutely.
during the week. It's just hard to get them out and put them on there and have my crew lined up in case it goes or
Yeah, that's a
it just
pain.
it's hard.
Yeah.
So
The quicker you can get to it's a go, the better
yes,
off everybody
you know,
is.
it's like today. I woke up and we had 8. We had 8 spots. Then we had 7 spots. Then we had 5 spots. Okay, now it's a go, or almost a go. It's 5. We had sold half. I need one more. And the next thing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we've got 4 spots. Okay, now we're going. But it's hard to sometimes.
Must have been the morning briefing, man, when I hit that
Must
hard.
have been. Must have been. But
Trying to hog up the credit here.
so if you guys really want to book a trip, if we have 4 people, we need 6. So I need 6 to go. So if you're thinking I don't want to put a deposit down yet, the faster you put a deposit down, the faster the numbers get to where they are, and odds of us getting out and being it's a go is
Are
a lot
much better.
easier. Yes. And we're not going to keep your money or keep a percentage of your money if the boat cancels. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It
Perfect.
all
Dan,
goes back.
good question, Daniel. Matthew Martin, great show, guys. Phil, what is the smallest boat you've taken to Tannerbanks? I ran a boat called the Thunderfish that was 32 feet. And
I got you beat. Well, yours is smaller than mine.
Is it?
I went out on the Bad Influence. I was a 38-foot Mediterranean.
well, there you go. Yeah,
But I
that's
also
a
went to
hell
the
of a
Bell-
lot nicer,
But I
comfortable
also
riding
went to
than
the Bell Bank on the 38-foot Mediterranean.
Oh, my
We
God.
shut the generator off on the way home.
I
Make
went
sure
to
we
the,
had fuel.
you know where the 7090 bank is out past Cherry. I was on that bank and we were fishing albacore and oh my God, the weather came up. It was freaking brutal. And somebody came up on the radio and goes, what the hell are you doing out here? Seriously. And I go, I'm starting to wonder myself. Shortly thereafter, we slid down a swell sideways.
That's not a good feeling when
You
you're
know,
going
like,
sideways.
yeah. And
I-
it was at that time I said, you know what, boys? We're pointing this thing toward Clemente. I'm out of here. This is too dangerous.
I pearled a crew boat going up the coast out of Ventura when the big winds offshore. Yeah, I hit one and I was going 16 knots. Next thing you know, I was doing 23 knots. The next thing you know, the boat was going one direction. Only thing I could do was pull the throttles back. And when we stopped, I was pointing the direction I was coming from. And me and
that is
the
so
guy, the deckhand
terrifying.
that was with me, we just looked at each other like, let's not do that again. It's just
That's so
experience. But and then you know, fishing in Alaska, you know, guiding up there, you learn to, you know, you got twin outboards. You gotta play the throttles in those big waves like that. They get steep. You know, if you just run down them or you don't try to surf down them, you gotta really be careful what you're doing because you can pearl a boat or, you know,
Pearl the boat meaning
spin the boat. You know, with the boat, you lose the back end of the boat and then the thing comes around on you.
is so
You don't wanna do that.
terrifying.
Or you bury the bow, which you don't want to do either.
No.
You don't want to stuff the bow going downhill. So guys that get out there in those little boats and those big seas think, I'll just follow it in. You got to be really careful.
You
know.
do.
One of those boats pick you up and it's not going down. It's when it catches you and pushes you over to the side and you lose all control. You almost got to go down at an angle like you're surfing.
Yes.
So you're going to go out at further distances, you know, got to have a compass, got to have a bearing, learn how to take a bearing from where you left from so you know where you're going and so you can get back if you lose all your electronics.
Yeah. Good
Biggest
advice.
Biggest thing I can tell anybody that wants to chase fish further offshore than where they can see is make sure you got a compass and take a bearing line from your harbor wherever you're going from. If you're going to run out at 180 degrees, well, you know you got to come back at
90.
no
Or what?
north. 180
Oh, that's
degrees
right,
to the
yeah.
south. You come back
Yeah.
north. Don't go fish with Phil. You end up in San Diego. He's going 90 degrees.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. Listen to what he's saying for sure. Ben Olivas, Phil, love the show. Watch every morning. Keep it up, man. Question, and thank you, Ben. Really appreciate that. Question for Captain Will. What's the best way to mark black or dark braid? How do you mark that so you can get every 100 feet in there?
Ew. I'm actually getting away from my dark braid.
Because, for that reason?
For that reason.
Yeah.
I'm liking the color-coded braid they have now. Every 100 feet is a color.
Yeah, right. That makes
it's
sense.
a lot easier to, if you're going to do that, I would take, depending on the size of the reel, if you want to keep green braid on there, if you don't want to waste all of it, pull off 600 feet, you know, splice on a bimini to bimini, you know, braid to braid, and wind on 6 colors. And then you've got 600 feet of mark line, and then you got a bimini to bimini.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then you're not worried about marking it every 100, marking your line. You know you got to color it 100 feet.
That makes a great deal of sense. Steve Bermudez, who was down here selling raffle tickets to support our efforts to send more goods to Mexico. Steve's right. He figured out the guy. They were straggler jigs. Leonard Loser
I remember the
did straggler jigs.
They had the little fish tail in the backside.
Yeah.
And
when my brother and I met him, it was like meeting, some big, and it was obviously kind of falling on hard times. He's living at the Hotel Salvatierra, which sucked. That's where we stayed. And anyway, Steve, you got it. Yellowtail, 69, Wasabi, Captain Will. You remember my 57-pound yellowfin on the Toronado? Caught it on a jig master. What happened to TK, the deckhand?
TK's in Texas. Mm-hmm. He's living in Texas now.
Do you remember a 57-pound yellowtail? Tony Gonzalez.
A 57-pound yellowtail or yellowfin?
Yellowfin. Do you have some breaking news for us?
No.
You have any freedom news?
I heard you talking. I thought maybe I learned something in here.
Well, when Will's talking.
Oh, sit down. Maybe I'll learn
I hear
something.
he's a superstar today.
He is. Yeah.
I'm not.
Do you want to come
I'm
in here and
just
say hi to everybody, Tony?
Hello, buddy.
No, I'm trying to kick you out.
We don't have any freedom info, do we?
I haven't heard anything yet.
Oh, okay.
We won't till tomorrow.
All right.
I'm really curious. And the
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And the amigos.
I gotta get information from both those guys tonight before I leave.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Tony Gonzalez, who will not come in front of the camera, but is an integral part of not only allowing the show to go on, but constantly coming in and saying, "You're out of here." So we never know. We never know whether we're going to be allowed to stay or not. Tony, good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys.
All right, thank you. Great guy, man. You like Tony?
I do.
You can be honest.
I do.
Tony, are you listening? No. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Let it all hang out, Will.
No, you know what? After coming over here and being here since July, everybody around here has been really nice.
Yeah.
I've had no animosity with anyone.
Which is a miracle at a landing.
Well, it's a landing, and it's. I'm too old for the petty crap.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't dig into it. It just. All of us are. We all had a cause. I don't get involved in the politics. I never have. It like I said, it's nice now that you don't have the same. Talking to people. I mean, I hit a San Diego boat up on a radio the other day and asked him if he was going around the corner with me or if he was coming in. We never talked. And he gave me some information on some stuff that was down there in San Diego and, asked me if I'd hit him up with if I could gather some intel for him because he had some older guys thought about fishing the inside, if I could get some water temps and stuff like that for him. There's no problem.
Yeah, that's great, man.
So,
We're working together.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. We're all trying to make money.
Yeah.
We're all the sport fishing industry. It's a big business, but it's not very big.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
It's small. Like you said, what happened to TK? He went to. Me and him both left sport fishing for a while and went into the offshore crew boat stuff. And
You went to Louisiana, didn't you?
I worked in Louisiana for 2008. No, longer than that. 2007 to 2020.
Whoa.
Other than like a year and a half, 2 years off. But I was down there for that whole time running crew boats. So I got out of sport fishing, just, had kids and a family and needed to make money. Then I liked doing it. It was, I like bass fishing. Sport fishing was a little harder to do.
Yeah.
And it just, COVID hit and I stumbled right back into,
Sport fishing. Yeah.
And the worst part about it, I stumbled into sport fishing, bass fishing.
Really?
How'd
that happen?
I ran into Mike Ramirez, who's the second operator, reef operator on the XL.
Yep.
At Diamond Valley pre-fishing. He was in front of me in his truck, and he was wearing extra tough deck boots in July. And him, and I was just, I started a conversation with him, and oh man, he let me know I work on sport boats, and I asked him what boat, and he said the XL. I said that's a nice boat. He goes, thanks. I said, you guys looking for people? He's like, actually we are. I said, what are you looking for? He's like, well, you got a license? I said, sure, got a license, radar, STCW,
Ready to rock
FCC,
here, man.
passport, TWIC, what you want? And he was just, He's like, man, he goes, I thought I was going to throw you. Like, yeah, I got a driver's license. And just never expected it. He thought he'd throw me off with that. And, I emailed the office, a day later, and, was wanting to work. I was looking for work. COVID happened, and, I was looking to make money. So it's happening.
Well,
What's going on?
Hey, look who's there. Dean, the boat mechanic, the man.
are you?
We are on live,
going on?
man.
No, I don't want to be on.
Oh,
Well,
Dean
you're already on. Now
shot.
you're doing a voiceover.
Yeah, that's right. Daniel Liano says, still like the cost for quality fishing with professionals who care. So he thinks
Thank
it's
you.
worth what?
I try. That's my biggest thing is, you guys are the business. If you guys aren't on the boat, I can't do the job. So if it's my job doesn't exist without you guys coming fishing and wanting to come back. I tell people I can only control what happens on the boat, the food, the cleanliness of the boat, and the operation. Mother Nature and the fish, they're not always on the same agenda as I am. I can't control them.
No kidding, man.
But I can control the other stuff. So, some fishing trips are better than others, and some are catching trips, and others are fishing trips.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it just, but I can't control that.
Yes.
So,
Brandon says, hey, Captain will the El Patron be available for a lobster charter? Can we do lobster fishing with you?
we can if you want to pull baskets. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't be. I mean, I want the boat to run in December. I want to do calico bass trips, the Clementi, the old December, January used to be awesome calico bass.
Oh, wide
trips.
open.
And what's bad now is you can't fish from like January until April for any kind of rockfish.
Right.
Okay, so does nobody want to go catch calicos anymore?
Yeah. Why not,
I
right?
mean, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to go catch calico bass, and they bite really good the wintertime. You can get some of those bigger bass on the jig and squid, and people are like, what's a jig and squid? And you're like, oh yeah, I fish a tatty, a tatty A1, or what were they with a tatty?
The heavier jig,
Well,
right?
it was like the
Yeah.
TLCs.
Right.
The TLCs with a couple squid on the back and cast those things out in
Yeah,
like
remember that?
90 feet of water.
Yep.
You get the blue perch peck in. Next thing you know, you got a 3-pound calico bass.
That is so cool.
And it's December.
Yeah.
Or January, and it's biting, and there's no one there at the island, and it's awesome.
I know.
I mean, now you're not going to catch, and you got the opportunity to possibly catch a sea bass or even catch a yellowtail. We can't keep all the bottom fish anymore, but still go catch bass.
Yeah, heck
I mean,
yeah.
the Shogun used to do calico bass trips in January when they were out at Ports of Call.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the day before they went to San Diego full time.
Yeah.
So.
Bring it
but
back.
yes,
You're open to
we could.
anything.
Yes, the boat is open to if I can figure it out, I'm down for it.
There you go, Brandon. All right, Billy says, I remember fishing the El Dorado out of 22nd Street with my old man over 20 years ago. I took my youngest son on the Eldo, now out of berth 55, making 3 generations of SoCal fishing. He's ready for the freedom. Billy, you got to drop by the office when you come by here and say hi, man. Those are some great memories in 3 generations. That's what you're looking for when you're helping kids fish, right?
That's right.
Tim Kipple, smaller boats with ultra limited loads are the only way to go. I'd rather pay a bit more and have some elbow room and a place to sit when needed. Points well made, right?
Yep.
Yep. Tim Marquez, thanks for being here, Captain Will. Great show. He's loving it. Steve Bermudez, what's the story on the Coronado Islands commercial fleet?
What
I don't know.
commercial fleet?
I have
the
no
tuna
idea.
pins?
Maybe.
I don't know what commercial fleet.
Steve, you're going to have to
You
clarify.
have to clarify that
Steve, are you into the tequila again tonight? That's a very vague and ambiguous question.
He missed the knee.
Yeah, what the hell's he talking about, Dean? I don't want to pick on him because he's out there selling raffle tickets for us and doing a great job. So, Steve, hone your question down a little bit better for us. Tim Marquez, I've never caught a halibut. What's the technique for fishing halibut at La Isla Catalina Island?
Fish where they live.
Yeah, there you go. In the sand, right?
We caught most of our halibut up on the beaches,
Yeah.
fishing sea bass. So I would say like a slide and sinker and squid. If you're gonna fish a sardine, that might be the reverse dropper loop somebody was asking about.
Yeah, right.
A reverse dropper loop with the sardine up in shallower water. You gotta have the right. They want to be on that sandy area right next to structure. They don't. You got to find the beaches. A lot of the beaches we caught fish on, we can't fish anymore. You can't fish Witch's Hat. You can't fish, all that area from Ben West and around to China, which was all good halibut areas back in the day. So depending on where you're wanting to fish, I'd say a sliding sinker and squid. You can probably make halibut drifts inside just to the west side of Ribbon Rock there in that little cove. There's a sandy bottom area there that's had good halibut fishing before. You just got to find the right conditions. The V's, the beaches along there. A lot of say 40 to 80 feet of water. Don't be afraid to get a little shallow. Sometimes that's where you got to catch them.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
They're ambush predators. They don't just sit around and wait. They hunt.
Yes.
So
Billy says he loves the show. He's currently sidelined awaiting gallbladder surgery. We wish you a great surgery. We hope that you're going to be fine, Billy. Appreciate your nice words. But he told the missus, or she told him, you're not going fishing until you get this surgery done, buddy, and make sure you double your life insurance. She didn't say that, actually. But he wants to bring others with him on the El Patron. Sounds like a great place to fish. So once he heals up from his gallbladder surgery,
looking forward to it.
He's going to be out. All right. I thought we were almost going to be able to say goodbye to you, but we have a couple more questions, then I'm going to get you. I know you got to run the boat tonight. You got 100 people watching this
I
show.
don't even know what time it is.
It's, what time is it?
I got to be out of here by 8.
All right. What time is it?
7:30.
All right. We're good. Brandon says, Captain Will fished with Phil this year on the Apollo. 4 or 5 people got bit on the sea bass. I got bit on a damn barracuda. When you see one rod go down, boom, 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 what am I doing wrong? I keep telling him he didn't do anything wrong.
It's
right?
It's the law of
yeah.
Was it squid fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
They come by and eat what they eat. It's.
I think this has kept this poor man up for months since this happened. He's had nightmares about barracuda.
Squid fishing is way different than sardine or mackerel or anchovies. There's no magic. Pick your bait. They have to swim by and just eat that one. There's no magic to the guy that's catching the most on the. It's just the guy that's got. Sometimes the technique is better. Sometimes the guy is fishing different than everybody else. Instead of everybody fishing, maybe he's fishing a 1/4 ounce slider or a half ounce slider. Everybody fishing 1 ounce. He's getting bit better. Fishing yellows. But when it's sea bass fishing, no, it's just when they swim by. They swim by.
See, Brandon, relax. You're okay. You've got Captain Will absolving you of any sins that you think you may have committed. You're good now, all right? You've gone to confession. Just move ahead with your life, right? Poor guy. All right, Duzong Duong. Hi, Captain, Hogue, and Phil. It's great to see you, my friend. I'll be on the boat trip 1.5 day this Thursday night. What kind of gear should I bring? Also, do I need to bring a sleeping bag and pillow for my bunk?
Sleeping bag and pillow would be nice.
All right, there you go.
Or a blanket and a pillow. You got to bring your own bedding. We don't have that. And I would bring everything, like I said, from
kitchen sink.
20 to 100 pound rod. So at least 20, a 30, a 50, and a 80 or 100 pound stick.
Yeah.
I depending on what happens tonight, definitely 100 pound rods.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a look-see and hopefully knock on wood.
We'll talk tomorrow too, and I'll be able to tell everybody what you're seeing and what you're suggesting. We'll keep everybody up to date on that. All right, best of luck to you on that trip, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Nelson DG says, go surf fishing for halibut. I love surf fishing for halibut. Lucky Craft, you can fish chrome crocodile, bait. It's been an incredible halibut year. Steve Barber, good luck fishing tonight, Will. He's telling you, and be safe, my friend. Daniel Lightfoot, come on, guys and gals, hit that like button. Darn right, hit that like button. Daniel, or not Daniel, Daniel Lightfoot. He said hit the like button. So do that, please, folks. Hit the like button, share these videos, subscribe to the Freedman Adventures channel as we're almost to 11,000 subscribers. Man, that went really fast. Scott Grant, just for your information, those bottom feeder sheepshead ate strip dead sardine on Tanner. I couldn't believe it, but I caught 2 fishing strip dean. There you go. Are you surprised at that?
Nope.
Nope. They'll eat anything, huh?
They eat strip sardine. They'll eat a whole sardine. They eat squid.
Think they'd eat a strip of bologna?
I don't. You can keep it on the hook.
I bet it would.
They're not.
I ate some bologna today because I just had some.
Out of
I threw
nowhere.
it out here and the frickin' smelt just went nuts. And I'm going, wait a minute. I bet the sand bass would eat that, right? I got to try this. You know, one of these times I got to try it. I'm weird that way, Will. You know that already. Steve Bermudez, last time I was down at the Coronados, there was a commercial fleet off the southeast side of the island. I heard it was tuna pens.
Yep, they're all tuna pens. That's where they stay.
Yeah.
So
they're-
what's you want to know about them? They're there. That's where they've been. Other than the ones that are dragging around, I think they've got a fleet of 5 to 7 seiners that drag around with 2 or 3 tuna pens. And when you hear the guys talk about fishing the pens, it's not the ones that are fishing at the Coronados. They're not fishing those pens. They're fishing the pens that are normally off the 302 to the Hidden Bank. Right in that area between Rosarita and the border.
yeah.
They drag them up and down, and they'll be good for a week, and they'll get pummeled, and the bluefin back off again. And you got to be careful fishing the pens. They don't want you up next to them. They want you off of them. You got to respect those guys. That's their livelihood.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing about not the sport boat fleet, but some of the private boat guys. You got to respect everybody out there. They're doing it for a living. It's just like us fishing. We give little boat space. We'd hope that the boats give us space. I'm not going to cuss at people. I'm not going to throw sinkers.
No.
But I'll let you know if you need to back off.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially I got fish hanging. Hey, go on.
Move
Slide out.
away.
Move away, please.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, if you want to get that close, I got tickets available online. You can purchase a ticket and get on the boat.
You can be right here.
You
Get a front row
don't even
seat.
have to wash your boat at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably cost you the same amount of money.
Yeah, probably less. Brandon says, never caught a... Here's the guy. He's back again. He's
all
lamenting this. Never caught a legal white sea bass, Captain Will. Been fishing this darn ocean for almost 20 damn years. Was truly disappointed with that damn, filthy, rotten, stinking barracuda. Thanks for listening, Captain Will.
Does he want to go
And
catch
Phil.
a sea bass?
Yeah, he does, obviously.
So,
he doesn't
hey,
want
I'm
a
not
damn,
trying to
stinky,
throw a plug
rotten, filthy
toward-
barracuda, though.
I'm not trying to throw a plug at anybody, but I know, okay, if I was going to go catch sea bass, I run a boat. But if I want to go catch them, I'm going to go fish with Alan Watson.
There you go, the dreamer.
Yes.
The man.
He runs open party 6-packs.
Yes.
Why would you not go fish with Alan?
Brandon, there you go.
I mean, he's probably one of the best at it.
What do you say, Brandon? That's what you should do. Don't go with Phil Freeman. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, you just do podcasts and
Yeah, I know, exactly. I just
But I
gave,
mean,
I gave a
but-
guy a course heading back to nowhere a second ago.
yeah. But I mean, if I was
Truly
gut
focused
determined and
on...
wanted to go catch a sea bass, I would go on one of the boats that target nothing but sea bass.
Yeah, but he'd hook a barracuda no matter what. I'll tell you that right now.
Well-
No, he wouldn't. Poor guy. Brandon, you'll get one. I promise you. Don't worry. Like Will says, man, Alan Watson, or when those things are full speed up in the Channel Islands, or, whatever, man. Go with this guy. I'm sure you're going to be all over the sea bass.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
It's an interesting fishery.
It is.
It has not been stupid at Catalina for years.
I know.
I mean, but when it's really stupid, it's really stupid.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, it's one of those fisheries. It's been stupid up there in the Channel Islands for
Several years. Yeah, that's been the
it-
epicenter.
It might come, but it used to be Catalina and San Clemente and Santa Barbara and stuff. So it changes, and they're
Yeah.
two different fisheries. They don't fish the same.
Nelson DG says, thanks, good night, wonderful show. I think that's a good opportunity. Uh-oh, so look at that, I screwed that up. I think that's a good opportunity for you to get out of here because you got to run a day and a half trip.
I do. I got
Will,
work.
what a
Appreciate
great,
it.
we got to do another one of these, my
We
friend.
do. We got to do we got to get somebody in here that bass fishes. So what's his name? That was sitting in
Danny
here.
Cadota.
There we go. Maybe
Yeah,
Danny
you can
Cadota.
be on his show on a Thursday night.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, you just screwed yourself. You'll probably be on this Thursday night. You want to look in that camera? Don't go anywhere. Look in that camera. Tell everybody goodbye because I'm going to push all the right buttons when you say goodbye. And, I know people are really going to want to fish with you now.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and look forward to seeing the guys that logged in and are coming fishing with me, and those that aren't. Check 22nd Street Landing. Our open party trips. I'll be putting more up in October, so come out and come fishing. Check out the boat, and appreciate having you on this, having me on the show.
Oh, man, it was absolutely
Phil.
great, Will. Fantastic. I'll just read a couple more comments because I like to get everybody in, and then we'll say goodbye. Tim Marquez says, thanks, Nelson. Planning on surf fishing for halibut this year. Scott Grant, great show. Thanks, Captain and Phil. Billy, until last winter, I hadn't caught a legal white sea bass since 1995. I feel you, brother. And Brandon, one more time, says, I got to get in touch with Captain Watson. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day, guys. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate all of you. Thank you, Will, one more time again. And I'll see you in the morning for the morning briefing and more content tomorrow. Will, thanks again, my friend.
Not a problem. Thank you.